Hi everyone, if you're watching this video, then you've subscribed to my Patreon, and I just want to say thank you so much for doing so, because in doing so, you're helping me live my dream in being able to talk about history non-stop. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm making this video today just so that you guys can get to know me a little bit better. So as I said in the video that I posted on social media, my name is Artie. You might be able to tell from the accent I come originally from the UK, from London, a very boring area called Wandsworth, but I've been living in Berlin now for 6.5 years. I started the History Buff podcast because I have such a passion for history. So actually what's funny is that I actually gave up history for GCSE, which is the exam you do in the UK when you're 16, but it's because my teacher was just awful. And it just goes to show that having a good teacher makes all the difference. Part of the reason why I was inspired to do this podcast is because I'm told often on my tours by people who do my tours here in Berlin that had I been their history teacher, they would have been a lot more interested in history in school. I think part of the reason that is because I have undiagnosed ADHD, so I'm very enthusiastic, and so I make other people very enthusiastic about. It's very easy for me to make other people as enthusiastic about things as I am. So I actually didn't do it at school. My fascination for history really started back at university, back in the UK. I went to Newcastle University and I actually studied French and Spanish, and then I moved to Germany, as you do, natural progression. I did a module about the German occupation of France in the Second World War, and I remember this really sparked an interest in the Nazi era, and I just couldn't get enough of it. I was reading loads of books, I was researching it freely in my own time, I was watching loads of documentaries. I just couldn't get enough of it. And it was through this that I visited Berlin for the first time in 2015, and I really fell in love with the city. I really connected with it like I've never done anywhere else in the world. It's a very unique city, and I do recommend you visit, because part of why I was attracted to it was because of its history. When you're walking through the city, you can feel the weight of its very tumultuous past permeate the city. But it's not just that, it's also because it's a very free place. It's just a very easy lifestyle and something that I really connected with. It's really not like anywhere else in the world, especially anywhere else in Germany. If you want real Germany, don't come to Berlin. Berlin, Germany, two different things. So yeah, then I moved here in summer 2017. I originally got a job as a pub crawl guide, which sounds fun, but trust me, after 3 nights of managing drunk Brits and Aussies, it gets a little old. But it was through that I then became a tour guide. Yeah, I just found myself to be very good at it. Yeah, I was very good at making other people as enthusiastic about the history as I was. Then I remember during COVID, I got an office job, which was awful, but I don't regret, because it actually made me realize that an office job really wasn't for me. And so then I became a tour guide. I started touring again last summer, 2022. I remember I had someone on my tour who said, "You were born to do this." And I was like, yeah, okay, this is what I'm meant to be doing. But basically, when I moved to Berlin, this fascination with the Nazi era then ballooned into a sort of more general interest in not just Germany. I mean, first of all, it expanded to an interest in other parts of German history. So the Cold War, Weimar Berlin in the 1920s, Prussian history before 1870, before the unification of Germany in 1871, when Germany was a collection of different states and fiefdoms and kingdoms and whatever. But then through this, it's actually now ballooned into just a more general interest in world history. I'm just fascinated with all kinds of history from all over the world. I'm not really content just to be talking on a daily basis about Berlin German history. So that is what has led me to set up the History Buff. So here I am, basically. You might be wondering about the pictures behind me on the wall behind me, these black and white pictures. This kind of encapsulates how obsessed with history I am. I call it my history wall. And they're actually pictures taken by a photographer who used to live in Berlin in the 80s and 90s. And he was taking these pictures at the time when the wall fell. And he has pictures of East and West Berlin. And I remember I came across his stall in a market in Berlin, and he was selling all of these pictures, and I was just absolutely enthralled. And I spent probably a good half an hour there looking through all these pictures. I ended up buying all of these pictures. I think I spent about 150 euros. They're just very cool because they give you a very amazing insight into what life was like in Berlin around the time when the wall fell. So if you want to check out this photographer's work, I can't remember his name, but I will put a link to his website or his Instagram somewhere that you can find it. And some of you also might be wondering why I have an Argentine flag on my wall. I actually used to live in Argentina. So as part of my year abroad at university, because I did French and Spanish, I had to live in France and then in a Spanish-speaking country. And I had the opportunity to go and live in Argentina. It was a very very formative part of my life, and I really fell in love with the country, and it's a very special country that I hold very dearly in my heart, and I'm actually going back there in January, which I'm very, very excited about. So, and I'll be doing episodes on Argentina, which I'll be releasing publicly, and also bonus episodes here on Patreon. Anyway, thank you very much again for subscribing to my Patreon. Your support means the world to me and allows me to carry on doing this. Also, actually, one last thing. What I actually really want to be in life is actually a writer. At the moment, I am actually halfway through writing historical fiction alternate history book, which is very exciting, and I'm about halfway through. Once I'm done with it, I will release it on Patreon for you guys to read, but don't get too excited because I've still got half of the book to write, but do keep a lookout, and please stay subscribed to my Patreon so that you can help me pay my bills and allow me more time to be able to finish this book. So keep supporting me. It really means the world. Thank you so much, and keep a lookout for some more exciting content. Thank you so much. Bye.